Hey y'all, welcome to the Honesty Circle, the safe space to discuss growing in adulthood, mental health, faith, and all the things in between. It's your host, Sierra Elise, and I hope you're taking care of not only your mental and spiritual, but your emotional and physical health so you can be your best self this week. Hey y'all, welcome back to the episode of the Honesty Circle. It's me, Sierra Elise. How are y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good. Today I filed my taxes for the first time by myself ever. Clap for me. Very proud of myself, very proud of myself. And it kind of ties into today's episode, which is one of the pillars of what the Honesty Circle is founded on anyway. It's talking about, mental health, adulthood, faith, all things in between, right? So today I want to really talk about adulthood, and what it like not just what it is, but how we are going to frame what adulthood means to us so that way we can have a better experience in our adult life. Not saying it's gonna be perfect, but just overall better experience. And when you think about adulthood, all the negative things come to mind typically. I was doing a post for the post on Friday, and the hashtag adulthood, the next thing that was like the most popular one was sucks. That shows the mental or like how people currently view adulthood. And we want to rework that. So, like I said, when you think about adulthood, you think about bills, you think about rent, you think about more responsibility, you think about working 9 to 5. Like I said, I paid my taxes today. And it's just so many things. Like there's so many things that encompass like having responsibility, making the decisions that are not fun, not just going back to your parents and letting them be the decision makers, or letting like fault fall on someone else, taking ownership. There's so many things that come with adulthood, and at times it can feel so negative. And we always talk about how adulting sucks, how adulthood's not fun. And the really reason why I really wanted to feel that way is because I really thought about this when I forgot what age I turned. It was sometime in like junior year or senior year, so I probably was like either 21 or 22. No. It was after I graduated. It was when I graduated. And I really thought about, I was talking to my mom and I was like, I just don't want to be one of those people who becomes an adult and it's like, adulting sucks. I don't want to be 40, 50, however old, still thinking how adulthood sucks. Because if you think about it, it's going to be the rest of my life. And while that can sound awful at some points, it can also sound kind of exciting when you reframe it in the right way. Like I don't want to just feel so negative for the rest of my life. I don't want to not see the joy in life because I'm thinking about the rent that I have to pay and the fact that I have to go to work every day and how there's not like just doing work and coming home and doing nothing. Like, I didn't want that to be my definition of adulthood. I was refusing to let adulthood seem like this awful, like you're signing your life away type of thing, because it's going to be the rest of our lives at this point. And I don't want to view rent and bills and things like that in all such a negative and heavy way, because those things are not fun to think about. And not saying that they're not important to be like, it's important to pay your rent on time and pay your bills on time and all these other things, but I also think it's important that they don't outweigh some other things that are also important in your life. And so I think when you get older, you get to decide what adulthood looks like for you. That's the funness of adulthood. You're no longer in your parents' control. You no longer have them, watching over your every move. It's your time to explore you. It's your time to explore what you like. It's your time to do so many things. And I think there's so much beauty in adulthood that gets overlooked because of the negative. And yeah, like those things don't have to scare you though. Um, Now you can choose like if you want to live in a way that bills and rent and all the things that come with responsibility of being an adult that weigh you down, or you can choose to have those things lift you up and some levels, that way you're still able to enjoy life on both ends. It doesn't have to be this, it can be here, and they can both be seen as positive and enjoyable things of adulthood. And it's like, what are you going to choose? Are you going to be that adult who is, you know, however old, still thinking about how adulthood sucks and how adulting isn't fun and how all these things, is that going to still be you? Or are you going to choose to change how your words are, change how you're viewing adulthood, so that way it can be enjoyable to you? I remember like when I first like started, like, this sounds really bad, but like getting my oil change at a consistent, like on a consistent basis, like when the sticker said get my oil change, like actually going to get my oil change. Yeah, so my first car wasn't doing that, so it's probably why it died, but that's neither here nor there. But I remember when I started to do them on a consistent basis, and I was like, wow, like this is adulthood. And instead of being like, oh, I have to pay this much money up an oil change, and oh my God, and like it's so negative, I was like excited to like, yo, this is not something I've done before, like I feel fun to be able to do these things. And I know it's different because I think like when you're early into adulthood, those things can be fun and exciting, but those things can still be fun and exciting throughout your life. And I think it's been like what, going on my third year post grad now. And I still think that the things, like when I filed my taxes today by myself, I was excited to file my taxes. Now, was I excited that I owed money? No, I wasn't. But I'm happy that I have a job, which connects why I hate working. Like, sometimes you hate working 9 to 5. Ugh. But it allows you to fund your life. It allows you to pay your rent on time. It allows you to pay your bills. It allows you to do all the things. Now, that's if it's a good paying job. Like, not all jobs are good paying. And if it's not, I'm so sorry. And I hope that you can find a job that is well paying, so that way you can fund your life. And I know everything's expensive right now. But I also just think it's like, how are you going to see it? Are you going to see the circumstances as something that's unchangeable? Are you going to take it for what it is and be able to not dwell on the negativity of it? And how are you going to make the most of it? How are you going to make the most of your adulthood life? What does that look like for you? And yeah, like, what are you going to choose? What are you going to do? Like, I'm not going to no longer say like adulthood's so ghetto. Ugh, adulting sucks. Like, I have tried to strip those words from my vocabulary, because I think the more that you continue to talk about the negativity of it, those things that come up that are negative are going to just be so much heavier. Like, I could have saw the fact that I owed money on my taxes and been like, oh, I hate adulting. I can't believe it. Like, this is awful. But I wasn't. I looked at it and I was like, dang, it's going to be a lot of money. But it's going to be okay, because I know at the end of the day that it's a part of adulthood, and the funness of adulthood comes with the responsibility of adulthood. And I am excited. I'm glad that I can be responsible for me. I'm glad that I can be responsible for what's in my control. Not that I'm controlling, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I have the power. You have the ability to move differently in the world than when you did as a child. Like, you don't, like, I remember like just going to like go to the store. You could eat candy for dinner if that's what you want. You could eat like whatever. And like, while that might not be the most responsible things, but at the same time, you have to remember you can do what you want. You're an adult. And I think when you can fully wrap your head around that fact of like, you don't have to answer to anybody. And I mean, like, in a way of like your parents, or, like, yeah, you still have to answer to God and all those things. But like, it's just important to know that like you can reframe what that means. And yeah, like, let's change our mindset. And this connects to so many things, but I think I want to first talk about it in the mind of adulting, because that is a pillar of this podcast. And I want people who are listening, who are younger, to know like that getting older doesn't suck. Like, getting older is a part of life. It's inevitable. And like, it's not like, we can't fight it any longer. Like, you can't fight it. And I think that's something that I'm so glad that my mom and my parents and my grandparents too have modeled for me so beautifully. But I would say my mom specifically, or my mom and dad specifically, because I've seen them from when I was born. I was born when they were 28. And then now my parents are the age that they are. Shut out them like that. But I remember my mom turned 50. She was so excited to turn 50. She even like getting gray hair, like all the things that people think as negatives of getting older, she's just put it in such a positive light for me. And it was just like so beautiful to watch her experience that and still watch her experiencing those things of like, I'm just getting better with age, baby. And that's how I want us to see adulthood and getting older. I think sometimes people connect adulthood to getting older, which is scary. Like it is scary. Like I just turned 25. It's crazy to say that. Um, I had someone, I was at a basketball game and they were like, I need to see your student ID. And I was like, I promise I am not a student. I promise I work here. But it's just so important that we are not, harping on the negativeness of getting older and adulthood. I think like people just see those as like the same thing. And while it is the same thing, it's just like, how are you going to frame it? And so as we're thinking about how we're going to frame this, about kind of how you frame anything, it's like first figuring out like what mindset you have now. So like think about what preconceived notions you have about adulthood. I don't care about what age you are at this point. You could be 17 listening to this episode. You could be 60 listening to this episode. What are the things that your mind goes to when you think about adulthood? Do you think about the negative things? Do you think about the positive things? Like kind of just what your head goes to. And I will share mine. Like before, when I was like having to pay bills, and like I remember my first apartment in college when I had to pay rent, and like, not being able to use all my money for what I wanted to use it for. I had responsibilities and other things that come up. And I was like annoyed. I was like, ugh, this is awful. Like I am making my money and it's just going straight to rent. This is so stupid. Why am I living like this? And yeah, so like how do you think about it? And I want you to comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Please comment below, like, what does your mind go to when you think about adulthood initially? Okay. Then you have to take what you already think of it as and figure out what you want to shift it to. So if adulting is seen as, getting old and old is bad, or adulting or getting older or being an adult in general just seems like a scary feat, how can we shift that? And so once you know what you want to shift it to, and our goal in this, and my goal in talking about this, is I want you to shift it to a positive mindset. I want you to shift it to a place of gratitude of getting older, because there's people in this world that didn't make it to this age. Think about that. There are people who passed away before getting to the age that you are. And so what are you going to do with this age? You have to make the most of it. Every single birthday, every single year, you have to make the most of it because you're still on this earth. So make the most of it. And so how can we shift and have it on a more positive light? The goal in all of this, though, is you have to catch yourself when you're in that negative habit of saying that this is ghetto or this sucks or different things like that, because that's how you're going to then shift it. And when you're shifting it, call out those negative thoughts, right? Calling them out and saying like, hey, nope, no, it's not. I'm blessed. I'm grateful to be able to live and to like every time I pay rent, I am happy to pay my rent. And that sounds crazy, right? I am so happy when I get paid so I can pay my rent. I'm ecstatic. You know why? Because I get to live by myself with my little Zeke. And I get to have a space that is mine that I get to take care of in the way that I see fit. And me paying my rent allows me to do that, right? Me paying my water bill on time allows me to have a hot, beautiful shower every single time I turn it on. It allows me to run that dishwasher because I don't have to wash my dishes. So I'm thankful. I'm grateful. And so how can you rework the things that are happening in your life and seeing that in a different light? So rent doesn't have to be a negative thing for you. I mean, I know that sometimes like it's hard to make ends meet, and like when all these bills are coming up and things are coming up negative, like I understand and I empathize because I've been there. And I don't ever say I probably will be there. Unfortunately, like not that I want to wish it on myself, but life happens. And I think another part of it comes with like trusting God with those things. And knowing that he is going to provide your every need. And so when things come up that feel like you can't handle, that you're not going to be able to afford it, just trust God. Trust God in it. I've like I said, I've been there. And I've given it, those times when I've given it to God, He has worked miraculously. Okay. Miraculously. Um, but back to what I was just saying, I just want you guys to just see growing up to be an exciting journey that you could go through. And knowing that you get to choose who you are going to be. You get to choose how you are going to perceive what is happening to you. You get to choose how you're going to see those negatives. And I'm not even saying it, put it on a positive, right? I think sometimes it can be like that toxic positivity. I'm not asking you to be that, I'm asking you to just even have a neutral response. And not seeing growing up and being an adult as such a negative thing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to be able to grow and to look back at where you've been and how you've changed and how you're evolving and how your mindset is changing. I was talking to one of my friends today. We were messaging back and forth, and we talked about how like the younger version of ourselves would be like, would never respond the way that we are responding to like certain things in life now. And like, that's beautiful. It's so beautiful to be able to look back and see like, this is where I was and this is where I am now. And I'm just excited to continue down that journey of getting older and seeing how, um, things just continue to change and develop. And, um, yeah. And I hope this helps you. I hope like if you're seeing getting older as a negative, or if you are entering the job force, or just anything in the mindset, this is something that can connect to other things, and how you can shift your mindset and how you can call out what it is you're currently thinking, and like verbally call it out. I know like sometimes when I've had negative self-talk, or when I wanted to reframe adulthood for me, I had to be like, when I thought like, oh, this is so stupid, I hate this. No, I'm grateful. Nope, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this moment to be able to do this. I'm glad that I'm able, alive and breathing, to be able to do this. Um, so just try to reframe it. And I just really want to see how this is going to change your life, like how this can change your outlook on life. Um, and find the excitement of getting older. Find the excitement of maturing. Look back at your life and be grateful. And don't look back in a way that you wish you were there, but look back in a way and thank God that you are where you are now in life. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, and I just want us in this Honey Circle community to be able to enjoy our adult years. And when the challenges come up, we're here to talk about them. We're here to vent about them, but know that they don't last for forever, and know that we're going to make it through, because that's just a part of getting older. And it's the exciting part about getting older, and navigating this space together. So that's basically it for this week's episode. Like, just let's rework how we're thinking about things in life. But yeah, so CC Sense for this week, it's going to be, last week was get out your comfort zone. Okay. This week is going to be to reframe something in your life. And when you catch yourself speaking on it in a negative way, call it out, or give yourself a consequence. In my office, whenever someone has like a negative self-talk, we have tally marks. Keep tallies of how many times you do it this week, and like make yourself do push-ups, or like give yourself some like, I guess like discipline or something around it. Or consequence, that's the word, consequence around it. But yeah, so we just want you to reframe something that you might not see in a positive light, and how you can rework that. And comment below at the end of this episode, like comment on YouTube, comment on the Instagram. Let us know what you are going to be reframing in your mind, in your world this week. You can take my advice or not. That is just my 2 cents. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. You guys generally don't know how much your support means to me, and how I'm trying to grow this Honesty Circle podcast. So please make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe on every single platform that you are listening to the Honesty Circle on, specifically YouTube. I'm trying to get to 300. We are almost halfway, or we are over halfway there now. But we're just going to continue to grow the Honesty Circle. So make sure you share with a friend. So if you like anything, share with a friend. Don't keep all this goodness to yourself. But that's it. That's all I have for you this week. I love y'all so much, and go conquer your week. Bye, y'all.